My presentation is going to be on the benefits and doubts of the cochlear implant. My name is Ella Kennedy. So first off, what is a cochlear implant? It's a electronic device that is surgically implanted into the head. It usually goes right behind your ear and onto the scalp. It is a sound processor that bypasses the inner ear where your hearing damage usually is, and allows sound to enter the cochlear nerve, giving the ability to hear and understand speech and sounds better. The benefits of a cochlear implant is you can learn to speak a spoken language, English, Spanish, whatever that may be, and you'll be able to understand other people that are talking. You don't have to rely on lip reading and sign language, and you are able to communicate much easier with people in everyday life because not everyone knows American Sign Language. Another benefit is getting to be a part of the hearing community. Being a part of a community is really important, so you feel supported and secure in wherever you are. In this community, you can go anywhere and not having to worry about not being understood. You can not worry about if there's accessibility for you as a deaf individual, if there's an ASL interpreter, or if there's people that understand ASL. You can go to attend schools. A lot of children end up attending a deaf school, which is good and beneficial for them, but they are only learning ASL. And if you go to a pretty regular school, then you're able to learn English, how to read and write, and you build communication skills with other people. You could go to the movies, you could go to concerts, you could talk on the phone and have much more engaging conversations. A lot of these things you can do as a deaf individual. It is just much harder. At movies, there are devices that you can read subtitles on, but that's a bit distracting. Concerts, very rarely, some concerts will have ASL interpreters. Otherwise, you just have to watch the stage and not being able to understand. Some fears and doubts of the implant that people have is a lot of parents and peers alike are having fear that you're leaving the deaf community and losing your rights as a deaf individual. If you are a child and say your parents are deaf, a lot of the times they want you to be able to learn ASL and be a part of the deaf community, know other deaf individuals, and they fear that if you dive into the hearing community, you will not be able to do any of that. This can also cause a divide in family and friends. In a documentary called The Sound and Fury, there was a family that wanted to get cochlear implant for their child, but the grandparents did not agree. This causes turmoil within friends and family of do they think the child should get an implant or not. And I say child because typically if you're going to get the cochlear implant, you should do it when you're much younger because you do have to learn speech and grammar and all that, and it's harder to learn those things when you are older and already understand ASL as a language, but when you're young, you can learn English, for example, right off the bat. Again, another point is you'll no longer be able to communicate in ASL because if you can hear, you have no reason to learn it. In conclusion, in some things that can counteract those fears is with the cochlear implant, you can take the magnet part that's attached to your head on and off. And this means you can kind of stop the hearing essentially if you want to. A lot of times children, when they're super young and are used to not being able to hear and they start hearing, it can be very overwhelming. So they are given the opportunity to take it on and off. Families can still implement deaf culture while having an implant. You can still teach your child ASL. You can still take them to deaf events, deaf schools, etc. Just because they have an implant does not mean they are not a deaf individual. It does not take away who they are. It is just helping them be a little bit more successful. And many more opportunities are within reach. Like I said, you are able to go many more places and do many more things without stress of accessibility. And a lot of times, if you're an adult looking for a job, it's hard to get jobs if you cannot hear. Not a lot of places are very accessible, but if you have an implant and you are able to adapt to more everyday life, you're more likely to succeed. That's my presentation. Thank you very much.